Okay, untuk bahagian B, section B, we have to choose one question daripada 2 soalan. Pilih satu soalan. Okay, let's say kita jawab soalan 9. Okay, so jom. Rajah 8.1 menunjukkan 2 types of same soap in different condition used in washing. Okay, which soap is better in washing action? Okay, and what is the factor of rate of reaction involved? Okay, right, so kita tahu kalau lebih efektif ialah sabun A. Okay, sebab apa? Kalau tengok dia dalam bentuk serbuk powder kan, powder compare dengan B. B ni dalam blok kan, dalam bentuk blok macam tu. So kalau compare, A lebih bagus. So A, kenapa? Sebab size lah, faktor dia ialah size. Okay, size. Okay, so kalau kita jawab contoh, teacher, what if saya jawab total surface area kan? So ni salah, tak boleh. Dia tanya factor. Factor ni antara 4 tu. First one is size, kedua ada concentration kan, ketiga temperature, keempat catalyst. Okay, so kena jawab any of these 4. If you answer anything other than these 4, it's not a factor. Okay, so total surface area ni apa, teacher? Yes, this is ada related dengan size, tapi this is an explanation to size. Saya kata explain. So you bolehlah kata total surface area dia besar sebab size dia kecil kan. No size, soap size. Oops. Apa? Contoh kan. Soap size is smaller. So total surface area is bigger. Is bigger. Macam tu. Okay, alright. Okay, number untuk next question B, kita nampak ada pasal Shaki ni, dia carry out experiment to investigate the factor affecting the rate of reaction between calcium carbonate and nitric acid. Table 4 shows the information of the reactants and time taken to collect 40 cm3 of gas Z. Okay, nak tahu gas Z apa? Okay, I like to terus nampak ni, buat terus persamaan kimia dia. Which is calcium carbonate is CaCO3, nitric acid HNO3 menghasilkan CaNO3 tu. Okay, dan kalau tengok CaNO3 dah habis kan, lepas tu kita tinggal apa? H, C dengan O. So mana ada something yang nama HCO kan. So daripada sini kita kalau ada H dengan O, we call it H2O. And kalau satu dah salt, satu dah water, satu lagi mesti gas. Macam tu. Dia tak boleh ada 2 salt lah apa benda. Okay, so gas is carbon dioxide. So inilah gas sac. Okay, alright. Okay, lepas tu number 1 ni dia kata nyatakan maksud kata tidak, state the meaning of rate of reaction. Okay, so ini maksudnya is general punya definition. Okay, dia tak kata based on the diagram ke apa ke. So you can just menggunakan Q over T, which is the quantity of reactant or product per unit time. Okay, so maksudnya meaning of rate of reaction is change in quantity of reactant or product per unit time. Okay, alright, next, name the gas Z produced. So tadi kita dah tahu dah name. Okay, name, if you answer macam ni salah. Name maksudnya carbon dioxide, baru betul. Okay, 1 mark. So lagi 5 markah tu untuk sekejap, chemical equation tadi dah buat kan, tapi kita tak balance kan tadi, just basic punya chemical equation. Okay, so CaCO3 HNO3 CaNO3 2 plus CO2 plus H2O kan. Okay, so kita akan add to here. Okay, so dapat 1 plus 1. So dah 3 markah. Lagi 3 ialah untuk calculate the maximum volume of gas. Okay, so for calculation kita buat page baru right now. Mana tadi? Okay, now dia bagi Kita cari maximum volume of gas sac produced in experiment set 1. Okay, jom let's see. Set 1, kita fokus dekat set 1. Now dibagi 50 cm cube dengan 1 mole per dm cube of acid nitric. So kita boleh cari mole. Whenever apa-apa pun, just always cari mole. Okay, always cari mole. So we can find mole untuk HNO3 dulu. Okay, so mole HNO3 is, kita guna apa? N sama dengan mv per 1000. So N apa? Sekejap. Let me write the formula dulu kan, supaya tahu what I'm talking about. Ni N, ni lah mv per 1000. Okay, so sekarang N tu ialah mole, M ialah molarity. Molarity is keberkatan. Dia bagi 1. So 1 times volume is 50 tadi, darabkan, lepas tu bahagikan dengan 1000. Kita akan dapat 0.05 mole. Ni mole of what? HNO3. Kita nak apa tadi? Nak volume of CO2 gas. Okay, so now yang kita ada mole untuk nitric acid, so kita tak ada mole untuk volume untuk carbon dioxide. So kita kena pakai stoichiometry. Okay, take back your chemical equation ni, kita tengok dia punya ratio. Okay, so sekarang sekejap, ada dah di pen ni. Okay, ratio dia bila kita tengok, okay, let me highlight. Nitric acid dengan carbon dioxide 2 to 1. Okay, 2 mole of HNO3 producing 1 mole of CO2. Maksudnya kalau 2 mole of HNO3 ni 0.05 mole, so maksudnya CO2 ni kita bahagi 2. Okay, bahagi 2. So kita dapat 0.025 mole carbon dioxide. Okay, now we have our mole of carbon dioxide. Kita boleh darabkan dengan molar volume untuk cari volume of carbon dioxide. So usually this value is given dalam soalan. Nampak 24. Okay, so darab dengan 24 dm3, kita akan dapat 0.6 dm3. Dan okay, alright, so itulah the rest of the 3 markah. Dapatlah 6. Kat mana markah dia? First one is mole, mole ratio and final answer. Alright, next question. Calculate the average rate of reaction for experiment set 1 and experiment set 2. Okay, average rate of reaction sangat senang. Okay, mana just use your ni lah, tadi kita tahu yang ni Q over T, quantity over time. So quantity bahan yang kita nak is volume of gas kan. Volume of gas kita how much? 40 cm3. So this is your quantity. Time kita ikutlah. Kalau set 1 is 25, set 2 is set 2 is 50. Okay, so now untuk soalan nombor 3, set 1 40 over 25, 1.6 cm3 per second. Macam nak tahu unit is tengok dia punya unit untuk volume cm3. Untuk time dia saat. So maksudnya the answer is 1.6 cm3 per saat ataupun S negatif 1. Okay, untuk set number 2 pula is 40 divided by 50. So answer is 0.8 cm3 per saat per second. Okay, 2 marks untuk tu. Okay, by using collision theory, okay, explain the difference in the rate of reaction between experiment set 1 and experiment set 2. Okay, so perbezaan dia ialah kalau kita tengok kat sini. Okay, apa dia? Satu pakai okay, yang ni excess calcium carbonate powder and 50 cm3 of 1 mole per dm3 nitric acid. Nombor 2 pula excess calcium carbonate powder and 50 cm3 of 0.5 mole per dm3. So ini kita panggil apa ni? Ini molarity. Molarity tu nanti kata lain is concentration. So inilah faktor kita. Faktor yang affect rate of reaction. Macam tu Okay, so sekarang ni set 1 ada more concentrated acid. Maksudnya dia ialah dia punya rate of reaction is higher. Okay, so rate of reaction set 1 is higher than set 2. Okay, tulis bawah. Okay, so kita kata Um, first one, rate of reaction of set 1 is higher. See higher, jangan cakap faster. No, higher. Higher than set 2. Okay. Alright. So bila when we talk about concentration, okay, just nak recap lah. Tadi kita tahu yang concentration of nitric acid set 1 is higher kan. Concentration of nitric acid in set 1 is higher than set 2 kan. Okay. So kita akan cakap pasal dia punya quantity of apa? Quantity of kalau general is quantity of particles lah per unit volume. Macam contohnya ada 2 botol air. Air ni ialah air coke yang pekat. Ni air coke yang cair. So maksudnya coke yang pekat ni ada banyak gula. Tapi volume dia sama. Contohnya dua air ni 20 ml kan. Ni let's say coke yang dalam botol. Tapi ni ialah dalam gelas yang kita nak minum. So kita cairkan, kita letak macam coke tu sikit, lepas tu kita tambah air kan. Maksudnya gula dekat yang B ni ialah lagi sikit daripada gula dekat coke yang besar tu. So nampak gula tu macam particle. Okay, can see it as particle. So bila kata more concentrated tu maksudnya banyak particle per unit volume. Volume dia sama. So bila kita kata pasal particle, you have to know what you're talking about. Macam sekarang ni nitric acid kan. Nitric acid ni maksudnya ada banyak, bukan ada banyak H+, tapi ada H+ lah. What makes an acid is dia punya hydrogen ion. Maksudnya yang kalau yang pekat ni maksudnya hydrogen ion dia lebih tinggi. Okay, so kita akan cakap the number of hydrogen ion per unit volume in set 1 is higher than set 2. Okay, and then the rest ni sama sajalah. Di mana boleh katalah frequency of collision, and frequency of collision ni specific between apa, just now between calcium carbonate and hydrogen ion in set 1 is higher. Okay, and then last one is frequency of effective collision. Okay, this one boleh general je. Collision between particles in set 1 is higher. Okay, so for that dapatlah full marks, 5 marks. Okay, sangat senang. Okay, number 5, Shaki repeats the experiment in set 1 by heating the nitric acid. The heating without changing the the heating without changing the concentration of the acid to increase. Okay, explain how the action can increase the rate of reaction. Okay, sekarang factor dia ialah temperature. So temperature, kita punya point ialah pasal kinetic energy. Okay, alright, jom let's answer this one. Kalau blank page, alright. So number 5 tadi kita boleh kata dia punya temperature dia increase kan, increases. So maksudnya kinetic energy pun akan increase. Siapa? Of particles. Okay, particles increases. Okay, maksudnya lagi banyak collision antara particles, calcium carbonate and hydrogen ion. You can be specific. Okay, so you can say the frequency of effective collision would be of effective collision between calcium carbonate and hydrogen ions increases. Or you could also say bila dah yelah kinetic energy tu tinggi, bayangkan energy dia tinggi, so lagi banyak boleh achieve dia punya activation energy, boleh overcome activation energy. Okay? More particles are able to overcome the activation energy. Alright, so jom let's talk about collision theory ni. Okay, so just recap on chapter 6, chapter 7, form 4 kan. Bila kata pasal size, apa tadi kita punya huraian, kita kata pasal total surface area. Bila kata pasal temperature, kita explain pasal kinetic energy. Bila cakap pasal concentration, kita cakap pasal amount of ataupun number of particles per unit volume. Okay, and last one, bila kata pasal catalyst, kita akan cakap pasal dia akan lower kan dia punya activation energy, so that banyak particles boleh achieve that activation energy. Okay, ataupun you can also say dia create alternative pathway, tak kisah mana-mana. Okay, so ini ialah explanation untuk collision theory lah. And then the rest boleh pakai je lah, macam frequency of collision, effective collision. Okay, except for yang number 4 ni. Kalau catalyst ni kita boleh cakap pasal frequency of effective collision je, sebab dia tak ubah frequency of collision, dia ubah frequency of effective collision sahaja. Okay, alright, now dah habis ke? Yes, so dapatlah 2 mark. So sebenarnya tadi markah tadi berdapat 3 markah sebenarnya. Ni 1, ni 2, ni 3. Dia akan ambil 2 je lah, and ni 2. Alright. Okay, C. Diagram 8.2 shows 2 different carbonated drinks, D, E and F, reacting with 3 grams of eggshell. Eggshell ni apa? CaCO3. And the time taken to dissolve all the eggshells is indicated on their respective stopwatches. Okay, now dia pakai DEF ni, adakah different? Yes, different carbonated drink. Dia kata lain tapi yang sama is dia punya mass of calcium carbonate, and the time taken of course akan lain. Alright, so let's go. Yang ni take 40 seconds, ni 30 seconds, ni 20 seconds. Okay, let's see. Based on diagram 8.2, which of the carbonated drinks is the most unhealthy to our stomach if it's taken regularly? State your reason. So bila kita fikir balik, kalau yang lagi cepat dissolve kat eggshell tu lah yang paling tak elok sekali. So kita akan ambil yang 20 second ni, which is carbonated drink F. So you akan answer F. Why? Because obviously ni tengah cakap pasal baru tadi bagi contoh pasal Coke tadi kan. Okay, so ni maksudnya concentration dia paling tinggi, has the highest concentration of acid. Okay, say your reason. Dah tu je lah kan. Ni 1, ni 1, 2 marks. Okay, alright. Okay, for kalau contoh you going to answer question number 10 kan. Okay, the following thermochemical equation represents 2 neutralization reaction. So dia kata sini thermochemical, dah tahu dah ni chapter 3 or 5 thermochemistry. Okay, write the definition of the heat of neutralization. Okay, this one is one of the things yang kita kena hafal je. Okay, neutralization ni maksudnya it's a reaction between acid dengan alkali, and bila dia menghasilkan air. Okay, so kalau nak for safer option, nak tahu apa nama definition ni kan, kita akan refer to textbook punya definition, nak selamat. Okay, so heat of neutralization is the heat change when 1 mole of water is formed from the reaction between an acid and an alkali. Okay, alright. Okay, sekarang ni kalau tengok kan dia kata just write the definition ni kan. It's general definition lah. Kalau kata based on the reaction, then kita akan specific. Maksudnya 1 mole of water produced atau formed from reaction between potassium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. Contoh. State the type of heat of neutralization reactions above. So kalau type of heat of neutralization, dia sama ada endothermic or exothermic. So kalau this one obviously nampak negative, it's going to be exothermic reaction. Okay, third one, write the ionic equation for the first neutralization reaction. So first neutralization reaction ialah ni. Okay, kalau ionic equation, kita akan fokuskan on apa yang kita produce ialah water kan, just now kan. So how do we produce water from alkali, kita akan ambil OH minus dia je, then from acid kita akan ambil dia punya H plus. Okay, H plus. Okay, kalau kita nak lagi cantik kita punya answer, sekarang ni practice lah, dah tahu ni, kita akan letak state dia. So OH ni dia exist as aqueous, H plus pun aqueous, and then water ialah liquid, cecair. Okay, compare the heat of neutralization from the thermochemical equations above, explain it. Kita tengok 8 markah ni, maksudnya satu lah macam aspek tu ada 2 kan. So meaning ada 4 things yang kita kena compare kan. Compare the heat of neutralization from the thermochemical equations above and explain it. Okay, cuba kita buat kat page baru. Okay, untuk yang first one tadi, kita nampak dia punya heat of neutralization is higher. Okay, 57 compare dengan 49 kan. Okay, kenapa? Okay, beza dia sebab yang first ni dia pakai strong acid. Nampak? Strong acid. Yang ni dia pakai weak acid. Okay, so kena cakap benda tu. Di mana strong acid dia akan ionize completely and weak acid akan ionize partially. Okay, so 8 markah. Kita boleh agak-agak lah markah dekat mana. So kita kata satu yang first reaction tadi, they call it what? Reaction antara potassium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. Dia tak bagi nombor pula kan, set 1, set 2. So just call it first neutralization reaction lah. Okay, the first heat of neutralization is higher than the second heat of neutralization. Okay, now kita boleh kata macam both mana tadi, both reaction ni ada perbezaan dari segi acid yang dipakai. Okay, so you can see, okay, HCl is a strong acid, while ethanoic acid, CH3COOH, is a weak acid. Okay, lepas tu kita explain. Hydrochloric acid ionizes completely in water to produce high concentration of hydrogen ions. Tapi ethanoic acid, dia ionizes partially and then blah 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 to produce low concentration of hydrogen ion. Okay, now kalau kita tengok kat sini kan, kenapa dia tenaga dia lain, maksudnya dia berbeza kan. Nampak ni 57, ni 49. Sebab okay, tadi kalau strong acid kita tengok kan, dia akan Ni kita buat ionize lah, ionization ionize completely maksudnya bila dia react dengan, bila ada air, dia akan jadi macam ni. Okay, kalau CH3COOH pula apabila ionizes, dia akan jadi macam ni kan, tapi dia akan ulang alik. Faham tak ulang alik? Ada reversible punya arrow, maksudnya kita akan banyak hilang tenaga kat sini. Maksudnya energy yang heat release tadi kan, heat release tadi dia akan absorb balik untuk apa? Untuk break the bond. Heat is reabsorb. Tadi kan dah release tapi dia reabsorb balik to finish ionization. Okay, to finish ionization. Sebab tak complete, dia partial je kan, so dia akan absorb balik. Alright, so kita boleh kata tadi kalau ni kita drag ke bawah. Okay, some of the particles still remain in the form of molecule kan. Partikel untuk apa? Ethanoic tadi. Bayangkan macam sebab dia ionize tak complete kan. CH3COOH. Okay, again I repeat, dia tak complete. Maksudnya contohnya ni let's say dalam ni ada 3 molekul ethanoic acid. So what happen bila kita tambah air, bila kita add water, let's say dalam banyak-banyak ni satu je yang ionize, lagi 2 ni dia still kekal as molecule. Okay, so some of the particles remain in the form of molecules. Okay, so maksudnya kita boleh kata dia punya heat energy tadi, heat energy release tadi is reabsorb to complete the ionization of ethanoic acid, OOH. Okay, so kalau kita compare dengan strong acid tadi, kita boleh kata dia punya molekul tu semua dah ionize. Elok ada ionize. Okay, so tadi macam mana kita nak susun ya? So better buat table lah. Okay, we can do macam ni, tapi ni susah nak cross check. So ni tadi dah satu markah. Yang ni dapat is a strong acid and weak acid kan. Weak acid, so you can get marks for this lah. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lagi 2. So 8 kan, 8 tadi kan. Tadi another one kita boleh kata yang ionization untuk hydrochloric acid ni complete kan. Maksudnya memang totally heat energy tu dia absorb. Tu macam nak tambah HCl punya molecules is are completely ionized kan, completely ionized. Jadi heat release is not reabsorbed. Okay, so you can add that. Alright, and then what else nak cakap? I think you can get marks untuk cakap dia apa nama, dia 1, 2, 3, 4. Yang ni dapat lah, macam nak kata ni strong acid, weak acid each. Okay, so I think that's where the mark is. Okay, alright, gitulah. So quite few times juga soalan macam ni keluar kan. I think dekat previous exercise trial pun pernah keluar juga. Okay, next question. This is calculation. 50 cm³ of 0.1 mole per dm³ sodium hydroxide solution reacts with 50 cm³, 0.1 mole dm³ nitric acid. Initial temperature for both solutions are 28 dengan highest temperature dia 35. Maksudnya ni ialah temperature yang initial, ni temperature yang final. Okay. Calculate the heat of neutralization of the reaction. Nampak je heat of maksudnya ialah delta H. Nak cari delta H berapa. Okay. Jom kita tambah page. Okay, now tadi dia bagi apa dah 0.1 Sekejap, tulis dulu dia punya chemical equation sodium hydroxide dengan nitric acid. Sekejap, NaNO3 NO3 dengan H2O kan. Okay, balance tak? Dah balance kan? Dah balance. Okay, jom. So now inilah reaction dia. Dia kata kita ada 50 cm3 of 0.1 mole DMQ nitric acid. Okay, nitric acid ke NaOH tadi? NaOH kan. Okay, now 60 cm3 0.1 mole per dm3. Okay, HNO3 tadi kita ada sama. Senang, dia punya mole ratio pun sama, so tak payah tengok mana satu limiting reactant. Soalan ni senang, ni bonus ni. Okay, dia tanya heat of neutralization. Okay, and then temperature pun dia bagi. Dah cari theta dah ni, 35 minus 28. Okay, so dapat 7 degree Celsius. Okay, so sekarang ingat kalau calculation involving dekat thermochemistry ni 3 formula je. Delta H Q over N, NMV per 1000, 1, 2, and yang ketiga ialah QMC theta. Okay, now kita boleh cari N boleh cari dah. Kan N boleh cari. So N MV per 1000, 50 kali 0.1 1000 ialah 0.005 mol. Okay, now kita cari delta H kan. N dah ada, Q ada tak? Q tak ada lagi, so boleh cari Q pakai ni, QMC theta. So Q ialah MC theta M, maksudnya 50 campur 50 dapat 100. C 4.2, theta ialah 7 tadi, so kita akan dapat 2940, tapi dalam joule. Okay, dalam joule. So use your formula delta H Q over N, 2940 joule bahagi 0.005. Okay, now kita boleh kira dapat 5880 kilojoule per mole. Okay, tapi kilojoule ni joule ni, joule kan, so kita tukarlah jadi kilojoule. Sekejap, kira balik dan calculator ni 0.0 panjang nombor dia, 588000 joule per mole kan. So tukar 223, dia dapat 588 kilojoule per mole. Since ni ialah exothermic, kita akan add negative, macam tu. Okay, this is your final answer. Okay, tadi kan kalau kita nak tengok mana tadi, mole ni tu kan, mole calculation ni kita buat sekali je sebab dia sama. Ni sama, even the mole ratio is the same. Maksudnya depan ni 1, depan ni 1. Kalau dia tak sama, please cari yang limiting reactant. Okay, so ini kita buat macam ni sebab apa? Sebab dah sama, mole ratio sama, dia punya kepekatan dengan concentration dengan volume pun sama. Okay, alright, so ni that's why I say ni soalan yang senang. Okay, alright, next question. Nombor 2, draw the energy level diagram for this reaction. Since dia ialah kat mana sih lah exothermic, maksudnya kita akan turun tangga. Okay, so label energy kena ada, and then you can do mana tadi, NaOH, HNO3, so on and so forth. Boleh tulis macam tu, ataupun nak ionic equation boleh, H plus and OH minus negative 588 kilojoule per mole, dapat H2O dalam liquid pun boleh. Okay, alright. Now state 2 information that can be obtained from the energy level diagram in 10B2. Okay, so information sangat senang, di mana kalau dia kita boleh kata this reaction is this chemical reaction is an exothermic reaction. Okay, dia nak dua, so lagi satu. So maksudnya kalau dia exothermic, kita boleh kata heat is release to the surrounding, kan. Chemical reaction release heat to the surrounding. You can also see temperature change dia, then increase pun boleh juga. Nak kata temperature of surrounding increase pun boleh, ataupun nak cakap pasal heat release masa bond formation is higher than the heat absorbed during bond breaking pun boleh. Macam-macam boleh cakap sebenarnya. Okay, alright, very easy one. Okay, done for section B. Alright, jom. Let's see section C. Answer all question in this section. Diagram 9.1 shows the setup apparatus of U-tube to investigate transfer of electron at a distance. Okay, so kalau nampak soalan ni, kita panggil soalan bonus lagi, kan. Transfer of electron sangat senang. Okay, so di mana kita akan nampak ada 3 solution sebenarnya dalam ni. We have A, B, and yang ketiga ialah acid sulfuric, a solution juga. Okay, di mana kalau kita ingat, kita perlukan apa? Satu ialah oxidizing agent, solution kita yang pertama. Kedua ialah reducing agent, and yang ketiga ialah salt bridge, which is in this case is sulfuric acid. Okay, now salt bridge ni how it works sama je macam electrolyte. Okay, electrolyte sama je. Okay, now dia kata what is the function of sulfuric acid. So dia kan salt bridge, kan. Salt bridge ni kerja dia ialah to allow movement. Allah, tulisan pun sekejap tak tekan ni. To allow movement of ions. Okay, allow movement of ions and to complete the circuit. Okay, next, carbon electrode are not allowed touch the sulfuric acid layer. Explain why. So sekarang ni nampak ni, carbon electrode ni dia sentuh dekat oxidizing agent and reducing agent each, tapi dia tak sentuh pun dekat kita punya salt bridge. Kenapa? Okay, so cerita dia nanti kalau senang lah, sebenarnya short circuit. Okay, cerita dia yang kita celup dekat oxidizing agent dengan reducing agent ni, kita sebab nak bagi dia control punya electron flow. Okay, so bila, jap, let me bagi contoh lah, senang kan. Okay, actually how it works is kita nak cari BD pula dah. Okay, ingat tak? Ni Daniel cell battery pula dah. Okay, so another setup untuk YouTube ni ialah you can also lukis jadi Daniel cell. Okay, Di mana kalau nampak ni ada elektrolit lain, yang ni ada elektrolit lain dalam setiap beaker ni. Okay, sebenarnya dua-dua ni ialah solution yang mempunyai logam yang berbeza, kan, a different metal. Macam contohnya kalau ni zinc, ni copper, contoh. Okay, so kalau ni copper sulfate, yang ni zinc sulfate, contoh. Okay, so two different metal. Sebenarnya what we want to buat is nak bagi dia ada different potential difference. Pernah dengar tak potential difference dalam fizik? Semua ada. Okay, potential difference ni dia punya voltage lah, voltage. Okay, so sebenarnya kalau kita duduk sentuh sulfuric acid, macam mana nak ada potential difference, kan? Sebab duduk sentuh solution yang sama. So you can answer explain why, kan, just now. You can answer there would be no potential difference bila when the carbon electrode, both carbon electrode immerse in the same solution, which is sulfuric acid, kan. Okay, so we can answer, tak ada ruang pula, kan. So you can answer tadi, there will not be potential difference when both electrode are immersed in the same solution. Okay, right, that's first mark lah. Okay, so maksudnya nanti elektron akan flow, tak dapat kawal lah, uncontrolled. Okay, gitulah ceritanya. Alright, nak cakap short circuit pun boleh. Okay, if solution A is iron 2 sulfate 1 mole per dm cube, suggest the appropriate solution B. Okay, so A ni iron 2 sulfate, ini ialah FeSO4. Ni iron 2 tau. So iron 2 kita tahu dia ialah tak boleh tahulah, iron 2 dia akan pergi dia akan jadi kita punya reducing agent. Okay, reducing agent. So now yang dekat B ni ialah kita punya oxidizing agent lah, kan. Mestilah kalau ni dah Ra, ni mesti OA. Okay, so just suggest any oxidizing agent. Okay, dah pernah cover, kan. So macam potassium manganate, potassium dichromate, chlorine water, bromine water, any of that four. Okay, sama ada let's say nak jawab apa, KMnO4, potassium manganate 6 solution. Okay, alright. So bromine water pun boleh, chlorine water pun boleh, tak kisah. Okay, kenapa dia reducing agent, cikgu? Okay, sebab Fe2 plus ni dia akan jadi apa, Fe3 plus. There's no way dia akan, ini je lah possibility. Okay, so now dia jadi from plus 2 to plus 3, kan. Yang ni kita panggil increase in oxidation number. Maksudnya dia undergo oxidation. Kalau dia undergo oxidation, dia mestilah reducing agent. That's how I know. So kawan ni mesti oxidizing agent, gitu. So you can suggest, cakap lah mana tadi, if suggest the appropriate. So ini dia punya suggestion is potassium manganate 7 solution. You want to say bromine water, chlorine water also can. Okay, suggest predict the observation at electrode X and Y, and write half equation reaction occurs at electrode X and Y. So observation at electrode X ialah, okay, jom tengok. So tadi electrode X ni from apa, Fe2 plus Fe3 plus, kan. So maksudnya warna berubah from green to brown. Okay, and then how about KMnO4 ni? KMnO4 ni warna dia ialah purple. So you can answer purple, dia jadi colourless. Okay, okay, alright. Sekejap, ni kita cari predict observation X and Y. So dekat, let's do table nak. Okay, let's do table. X apa, Y apa. So X ialah green to brown just now. Ni pula purple to colourless. Okay, colourless. Okay, and then tanya half equation kan. So you could do kat bawah ni jugalah half equation untuk X dulu. Tadi kita dah buat kan. Fe2 plus dia jadi Fe3 plus electron plus 1 electron. Okay, untuk Y ni dah ajalah cara nak balance kan. Nanti kalau ada masalah lagi boleh tengok balik. MnO4 dia akan jadi Mn2 plus. So you can tengok balik macam mana nak balance kan. Tapi this one you can refer to standard electric potential table. Okay, kalau ada trouble nak selesaikan ni, nak balance kan, let me know. Okay, Mn 2 plus 4H2O. Okay, alright, done. Okay, for question B, Ikuan run an experiment of electroplating of iron spoon as shown as in diagram 9.2. Write half equation of anode and cathode. Okay, so maksudnya 1 mark. And then what is the mass of maximum mass copper metal that can be plated on the iron spoon without considering the presence of copper electrodes. Okay, sekejap markah ni 4 marks. Okay, so maksudnya the rest of the mark is for the calculation. So 2 is for calculation. Okay, now mana? Okay, so a little concept untuk electroplating. This is an application of active electrode, di mana we are using electrode that is other than carbon. Okay, so that is active electrode. So now how it works is macam mana which ion is going to be discharged. We're not going to use the E0 value. We're going to judge it based on the copper and copper ion only, between copper only. Okay, so maksudnya kalau dia pakai silver, let's say dia pakai silver and silver sulfate contoh AgSO4 Ag2SO4, then it's going to be between Ag metal, Ag atom, silver atom and silver ion only. Okay, so now for this case is using copper, so between copper only. Okay, now let's see. So copper electrode duduk dekat anode, which is the positively charged positive terminal, and cathode is negative terminal. Okay, so we know that electron punya movement dulu. Electron move from anode to cathode. Okay, so for this case it's from positive terminal to negative terminal. Okay, now the one that is going to donate electron is anything yang duduk dekat positive terminal. So for this case copper electrode akan donate electron. Okay, so now we're going to put our electron on the right hand side. So the half equation is going to look like this. Okay, and then on the iron nail at cathode, the half equation is going to receive electron. Okay, so you can write anode, cathode. Okay, 1. Okay, next the mass of copper metal that can be plated on the iron spoon without considering the presence of copper electrode. This is the maximum mass untuk the metal that is plated on the iron nail kan. Okay, jom kita tengok. We have volume and molarity. So from that, macam ni je, anything bila calculation kan, when in doubt you always find your mole dulu. Okay, sekarang ni you can find your mole. How? N mv over 1000. Okay, so you will get your m is 0.1 and volume is 300 over 1000. So you will get 0.03 mole. Okay. Now the maximum mass of copper. Okay. Ni dia nak trick ni, that's why dia bagi iron. Okay. We're going to calculate for copper. So we are going to use 64. Okay. 0.03 times 64. So you will get 1.92 grams. Okay, this is your final answer. So 1 mark for your mole and for your final answer. So total of 4 marks. You see how they give what we call it, not value kan, but kita tak guna pun kan, sebab dia nak, maybe dia guna untuk number 3, I'm not sure, tapi kita tak guna, just nak trick kita je untuk using this, kan. Sebenarnya we don't need to use this because we are using active electrode. Okay, alright, proceed to C. Elisa found that after a week of using grilling iron, the grilling iron had rust. As a chemistry student, you suggest 2 ways to Elisa how Elisa can remove the rust and 2 ways to avoid grilling iron rust. Each suggestion must be explained by scientific reason. Okay, so kita kena suggest 2 ways how dia boleh remove the rust and 2 ways to avoid grilling iron rust. Okay, so 2 ways. So kita punya method patut kena ada reason. This one, okay. Buat macam ni lah. Yang ni first one is how to remove rust. Kan, method, reason. Lepas tu dia nak 2 kan. Dia nak 2. So method, reason juga. Okay. Alright. And then for second one, I think maybe we need to buat kat new paper lagi clear. Okay. First one, again. How to remove rust. So dia minta 2. This one is to know the division of marks tau. So first, kalau you nak tahu kat mana, you don't want to miss 1 mark kan, tak nak miss any mark, buat this method. Maksudnya kena check lah, cross check. So how to remove rust, give method kan, method, reason, and then another method, another reason. Okay, and then next is avoid grilling, to avoid grilling iron rust. Okay, how to prevent rust. Okay, method, reason, sama juga, method, reason. Okay, let's go. So how do we remove rust? Kalau ikut logic, ikut logic kan. So kalau grilling iron ni kan, bayangkan kalau ada kat rumah, kita nak remove rust, kita boleh kita boleh use sandpaper kan. Yes. Okay, so use sandpaper and rub. I feel like maybe kita boleh buat rub using sandpaper. Reason, okay, reason kita boleh remove the rust lah. Remove the rust. Okay, second method, kita boleh have you heard of this, dekat sinki ke apa ke, kita guna carbonated drink also can, ataupun DW40 tu kan, pour carbonated drink, ataupun spray with DW40 kan, drink, pour carbonated drink. Lepas tu kita akan rust tu dissolve lah, rust will dissolve. Okay, how to prevent rust pula. Okay, how to prevent rust, ini kita boleh apply redox punya application masa dekat ni corrosion punya part. Okay, electrochemical corrosion, please read balik this part of redox, okay? Punya apply balik. Okay, application of electrochemical corrosion. So now kita boleh letak any metal yang that is more electropositive than iron. Okay, sebab nanti dia akan jadi sacrificial metal. Yang tu yang akan rust instead of the iron. Okay, put metal that is more electropositive than iron. Reason will be sacrificial metal. Okay, last one. This one we can coat kan, coat. Okay, boleh electroplate lah, macam electroplate kan. So we can say coat with a protective material, such as boleh guna apa, paint ke, oil ke. Okay, resin, bawah sikit, resin will prevent formation of oxide layer. Okay, surface of iron. Okay, ni boleh baca kat textbook pun ada. Okay, alright.